so much for being here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and call to order the June 5th Seminole County School Board meeting. Tonight, I have the pleasure of sharing the invocation and leading everyone in the pledge. In this day and age, for whatever reason, it seems like everything is focused on the negative, whether it's social media or conversations around the dining room table or listening to the radio. It seems like negativity seems to be pervasive in our society. So this was just, I think, a neat reminder of focusing on the positive. I'm going to share this with you. It's from John Maxwell, from his Daily Reader, from his book, The 360-Degree Leader. If you desire to see everyone as a 10 and help them believe in themselves, you need to encourage them by catching them doing something right. And that is really countercultural. We are trained our whole lives to catch people doing something wrong. If our parents and teachers caught us doing something, I don't have my cheaters on tonight, so forgive me. I need to run to CVS and buy a new pair. If our parents and teachers caught us doing something, you can bet it was something wrong. So we tend to think in those same terms. When you focus on the negative and catch people doing something wrong, it has no real power to make them any better. But when we catch people doing something wrong, they become defensive, they make excuses, and they evade. On the other hand, if we catch people doing something right, it gives them positive reinforcement. It helps them tap into their potential. It makes them want to do better. Make it a part of your daily agenda to look for things going right. They don't have to be big things, though of course you want to praise those things as well. It can almost be anything at all, as long as you are sincere in your praise. Catch someone doing something right. If y'all would please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That was a perfect one. I loved it. I'd like the record to reflect that all school board members are in attendance this evening. We have some folks in the audience that have filled out forms for recognition. Jerry Wright, who is a candidate for School Board District 4. Bobby Aganina from Lake Howell High School and also a candidate for Seminole County School Board District 4, and Christine Kraus, candidate for Seminole County School Board District 1. Polly DeLucia, president of the Seminole County Council of PTAs. Thanks so much for being here. Dr. Griffin, do we have any agenda modifications?
Yes, Madam Chair. I actually have 3 items this evening. The first is the addendum for good cause is marked on our electronic agenda by a green flag named addendum item. Then I need to pull agenda item 2E, the business partnership recognition. We'll bring that back next meeting. And the third, I want to add an item 2G for recognition of the Crooms Business Advisory Board. And then I have a recommendation for the board is that we eliminate the September 25th open discussion and scheduled school board meeting.
All right.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. School board members, do you have any items for removal? The only thing that I have for clarifying questions is 4L, which is the representative for the RFP for mental health services.
I'm willing, if you need.
I am too.
Okay. All right. We'll take that up when we're through with our
Okay.
recognitions. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda outline?
So moved.
Motion
Second.
and a second. Second by Mrs. Sanchez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. We have our presentations.
All right.
All right.
Dr. Griffin, Chairman Lockhart, and board members, it is my great privilege tonight to recognize an outstanding student, a senior next year at Seminole High School. Please welcome, 'em, 'Malavika Cannon. Malavika recently won the silver medal in the 2018 National Scholastic Art and Writing Awards competition for her work titled The Book Weaver's Daughter, where she did the novel writing and won the silver medal in this national award. Also here with her tonight are her teacher, Mr. Fayoba, please stand and be recognized, and her principal, Dr. Connie Collins. Our second high school recognition tonight involves a coach and employee. We are proud to recognize athletic director and volleyball coach from Oviedo High School, Jen Daugherty, for being recognized as Florida's 2017-2018 State Volleyball Coach of the Year. Jen Daugherty from Oviedo High School. With her tonight, taking pictures and doing an excellent job with the iPhone, is the principal, Mr. Joe Tribus.
All right, Superintendent, school board members, it gives me great pleasure to recognize our Community Involvement Manager, Missa Mills, for winning the University of Florida's Institute of Food and Agricultural Services Extension Epsilon Sigma Phi Business Person of the Year for the state of Florida. This is the highest honor anyone from outside of this organization can receive. Missa will also represent Florida at the national level in March. The University of Florida's Institute of Food and Agricultural Service Extension has always had a high priority initiatives, but strategic plans on how to get those programs to the targeted audiences has oftentimes been cumbersome and difficult to achieve. Because of MISA, the IFAS has completely changed their access to student programs. MISA has provided trainings to large groups and helped them reach a more diverse audience as a result. MISA has brought statewide opportunities as the president of the Florida Association of Partners in Education, providing her expertise, which has been used to enhance, broaden, and enrich the extension program to thousands of people statewide. Some of the programs she's developed were Healthy Hands, the disease prevention program, Living on My Own financial simulation program, and building the Master Gardener partnerships with SCPS schools and staff, including family fun nights. Congratulations, Missa.
School board members, Superintendent, thank you for affording me the opportunity to utilize this platform to recognize the Seminole County Sheriff's Office employee who is out there each day keeping our kids safe. I'd like to recognize school crossing guard Bill Reynolds and award him with the Ironman Award. Yes, we made this award up. Bill, 81 years young, has been with the Sheriff's Office since 2015 as a school crossing guard where he serves and is well known and loved by the Sable Point elementary community. He is a veteran of the United States Navy. All right, let's set up. He spent his career at the New York Stock Exchange for 35 years and Disney for 24 years. He's married to his wife, Joanne, of 30-plus years. I would like to bring up two noteworthy incidents that have earned him this award while he faithfully worked his post near Sable Point Elementary. That's all right. Thank you, Madam Chair. On May 2nd, 2017, deputies arrested a woman that used her car to strike a crossing guard, our beloved Bill, and then drove around him. The incident happened shortly before 2 p.m. on April 2nd on Wekiva Springs Road near Sable Point Elementary School. The woman told investigators she was low on fuel and wanted to turn to the 7-Eleven gas station when the school crossing guard blocked the road. The guard had a stop sign out. The children were walking in the crosswalk. After being struck by the car, Bill was checked out by medical and returned to his post. The second incident, May 3rd, 2018, school crossing guard Reynolds was crossing two elementary school children in a driveway at the 7-Eleven of the Wekiva Springs Road when an adult subject walked up and struck Reynolds in the face, knocking him to the ground. This attack was unprovoked, and it's believed the subject was under the influence at the time. Reynolds was transported, I heard kicking and screaming, to the hospital for precaution and was back to work the next day. Bill, we have SWAT Tryouts coming up at the end of the year if you're interested. Sheriff, I'd like to turn it over to you if you have a few comments, sir. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the partnership that we have here in Seminole County with our superintendent and all school board members and every one of the campuses. We have something special going on here, and I'm very proud of the relationship that we have. And for you, Bill, you are as tough as nails, my friend, and I will tell you, I was just whispering in his ear over there. I said, I think that you will be teaching defensive tactics training for all deputy sheriffs throughout Seminole County in the very, very near future. Yeah, it's been a tough 2 years for Bill there. But I will tell you, Bill is just one example of the 150 or so ambassadors that we have out in our community day in and day out, rain or shine, sometimes the dark morning hours, crossing our kids safely. They are passionate about what they do, and I am proud to announce and highlight this as often as I can, that 5 years we have been awarded School Crossing Guard Program of the entire state, and I will tell you 4 years in a row, and that is a great privilege, and it's a great partnership, and our leadership team is in the back, and I'd like them to stand just to be recognized because they are the best in the business. Thank you. And then for our captain, Rick Francis, who has just been a blessing with the partnership that he has with the superintendent's office and the sheriff's office, thank you for making it a part to make up an award that never existed, the Tough Guy Award, just so we can highlight our great folks. And I'd be remiss if I did not mention two other recipients tonight, one Orlando Health, who have partnered with us on a very important project to the Seminole County Sheriff's Office with giving necessary tools for emergency preparedness, as well as Mission Barbecue, which are great ambassadors of community service, public safety, and a great addition to the Seminole County business community. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Sheriff. I would now like to recognize Orlando Health for their efforts to support towards our Safe School initiative. Specifically, Orlando Health provided us a team of ER trauma surgeons support staff to train our school resource officer and deputies on advanced hemorrhage control as part of the Stop the Bleed campaign. Stop the Bleed is a national awareness campaign and a call for action. Stop the Bleed is intended to cultivate grassroots efforts to encourage bystanders to become trained, equipped, and empowered to help in a bleeding emergency before professional help arrives. Our SRDs and SROs were trained as facilitators to go back to the schools and teach our SCPS faculty. The Orlando Health staff that worked with our SRDs and SROs were all part of the Pulse nightclub response at RMC, truly a top-notch healthcare professionals. Secondly, Orlando Health provided us approximately $4,100 in medical supplies to complete our school medical response bags in each of our 61 schools. Tonight, we are honored to have Ms. Ono and Otel representing Orlando Health. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Sorry. Thank you very much. And Mission Barbecue couldn't be here tonight. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, good evening, Dr. Griffin, board members. My name is Brandon Hanshaw, and I am principal of the Crooms Academy of Information Technology. Tonight, I would like to recognize the Crooms Business Advisory Council and all the amazing things that they do. The Crooms BAC is nationally recognized as an exemplar council by the National Academy Foundation. This dedicated group of individuals represent a diverse group of organizations such as, but certainly not limited to, DISTI, Forerunner Technologies, United Data Technologies, the National Center for Simulation, ECPI University, Veritas, HP, CFE, Siemens, US Foods, Cornerstone Law Firm, Full Sail University, the Center for Distributed Learning in the University of Central Florida, AAA, and that's just the folks who are here tonight. They provide an array of support and opportunities for our students through junior achievement, job shadowing, senior portfolio interviews, internships, and of course, the renowned Seminole County Tech Fest. At this time, I'd like to introduce each of them who are here tonight. When we call your name, please come forward and remain standing with everyone so we can get a group photo at the end. Up first is Mr. Kevin Cannon. Next, Kate Crockett. David Cruz. Ashley Hart. Robert Kenderman. John Mara. Paul Meehan. Hank Okraski. Christina Palter. Joel Pickering. Nancy Swenson. And from Crooms, Casey Brown. Ms. Mary Benton. And representing the Seminole County School Board, Crooms BAC member, Ms. Tina Calderon. All right. Oh, and then of course our chair. He's a very busy man. He doesn't like the spotlight, but we're going to give him one anyway. That's R.T. Hillary. That's right. Just hiding it.
Okay. Good afternoon, Dr. Griffin and the school board councils. As you all know, we've been working towards a $100,000 goal in an endowment with the foundation. And so each year we're putting $5,000 towards that. With this $5,000, it should make $55,000 towards that endowment. So we want to present the check to you again tonight.
Superintendent and board members, I'd like to introduce a couple of new administrators tonight. First, I'd like to welcome to Winter Springs Elementary School as the principal, Mrs. Amy Barone. Mrs. Barone received her master's degree from Nova University, her undergraduate from Warner Southern College in English and secondary education. She's worked in Volusia County, saw the light, came over to Seminole County Public Schools, worked in our district office, and worked as professional development, teaching and supporting teachers. She was hired as an AP at Lyman Elementary School, worked as a grant coordinator at Midway Elementary School of the Arts, then moved on to AP at Lake Mary Elementary School, Forest City Elementary School, and Wekiva Elementary School. Here with Mrs. Barone tonight are her family members. Please stand. Her husband, Christopher Barone, and her daughter, Sadie Barone. Congratulations. You want a photo? Come on up. Take a photo. Thank you and congratulations, Ms. Barone. We'd also like to welcome new AP to Bear Lake Elementary School, Mrs. Michelle Ortiz. Mrs. Ortiz has been with Seminole County Public Schools for the past 10 years. She has served as a teacher, an ELA coach, a school administration manager at Wicklow Elementary also. Before becoming a member of the Seminole County Public School team, she taught kindergarten through 6th grade in public, private, and charter schools, both in the United States and internationally. Here with Mrs. Ortiz tonight are family members, Adolfo Ortiz, Leonel, husband, Eva and Joseph Ortiz Fetter. Children, please stand. And her parents, Bob and Kat Fetter. Please come on up. Thank you and congratulations, Ms. Ortiz. We'd also like to welcome Assistant Principal Charlotte Little to Altamont Elementary School. Mrs. Little earned her bachelor's degree in exceptional student education from University of Central Florida. In 2016, she returned to UCF to pursue her master's degree in educational leadership and graduated in May. Tonight with Mrs. Little, here with her tonight are her husband, Al Little, son, Albert Little, and daughter, Avery Little. Please come on up. Congratulations, Mrs. Little, and welcome to all our elementary administrators.
Good evening, school board members and Superintendent Griffin. I am pleased to present Ms. Clefine Reed, new assistant principal at South Seminole Middle School. Ms. Reed received her bachelor's degree from Bethune-Cookman University. She attended Nova Southeastern University, where she earned her master's degree in educational leadership, and she is currently pursuing her doctorate at Walden University. She has served as an instructional coach and as an instructional dean at South Seminole Middle School. Here with her this evening is her daughter, Cameron Reed, her sisters, Zenadia Martin and Taisha Griffith, and Principal Mia Coleman-Baker.
So the item that we had pulled for discussion was the Mental Health Services RFP, and Mrs. Almond jumped right on that and offered to serve. If there's nobody else that would like to...
I think I heard Abby also.
Yes, I said I wanted to.
I said I could too, but I took one last meeting, so we can rotate.
And I have experience also, so I could do a backup to Abby if she really wanted to do it, and go either way,
Okay.
Whatever you want to do.
or toss a coin.
You all
or
wanna do
whoever's
rock, paper,
schedules align.
scissors?
No, it doesn't matter.
Matter.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Wanna do it?
Okay.
I can
Okay,
be a
so-
backup to you if you want me to.
Okay, so Mrs. Almond is going to serve, and Mrs. Sanchez will serve as backup if
There
something
you go.
happens and Mrs.
There
Almond
you go.
cannot
Thank
do
you.
it. Okay, great. We good? Got that? Mrs. Marimas? Okay, so can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right. We had no items removed for separate consideration. So discipline hearing dispositions. Dr. Griffin?
Yes, Madam Chair, I have one recommendation, that the School Board of Seminole County approve the student disciplinary recommendations from May 15th, 2018.
So moved.
Second?
Mrs. Sanchez, did you motion that?
Mrs. Almond?
Mrs. Almond's
And
motion.
Tina second.
Dr. Calderon second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And public comment, I have one person that has filled out a form that has requested to speak tonight. Mrs. Calderon, if you would, read the public input segment of our statement. And it's Courtney Ring. I'm not sure, Courtney, where you are, but if you want to make your way over to the podium and listen to what Dr. Calderon has to say, she'll give you the instructions.
Great. Good evening. The public input segment of the meeting is provided to allow the public to present specific matters to the school board for its consideration and referral to the superintendent and staff for inquiry and action, or address specific items on the agenda. The public input segment of the meeting is not open to presentation of campaign issues by political candidates or others, student disciplinary actions, pending employee disciplinary matters, or pending litigation. It is not the intent of the school board to deprive any person of his or her right of freedom of expression. It is, however, the intent of the school board to promote mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct. The speakers are limited to 3 minutes, and you must clearly identify the items that you wish to have addressed, and we appreciate you taking the time to be here. If you could identify yourself, your address, and we look forward to your comments.
Okay, I'm close enough. My name is Courtney Ring. I just graduated from Haggerty High School, all 4 years, super cool over there. Right now, I'm working with March for Our Lives Orlando. I've been working with a lot of MSD alumni, and they're all super sweet kids, and we've all been working very, very hard to get voter registration to be a big thing. Over at Haggerty, you might know that we register all seniors to vote with these supervisor elections. Mike Ertel, cool dude. At the end of the year, we find this activity to be super successful. We've done it, I'm pretty sure, the entire time that Haggerty has been around, and it's great. We register almost every senior to vote, and it's amazing. We sit down with Mike Ertel in the auditorium. It's great. We'd like to ask the school board to establish voter registration drives in all high schools in the county with the goal of registering and pre-registering all eligible students to vote. We'd also like to see voting guides placed in all offices in all schools, available to anyone who'd like one. We hope the school board will consider our request and act accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this is going to be the quickest turnaround you've ever had. So, Courtney, I have good news for you. We'll go ahead and refer this to the superintendent and Mr. Godrer to take care of, and I think it'll be pretty quick to be able to handle the request. Mr. Godrer, would you like to address the...
Absolutely. I think Courtney is a great idea. We do have voter registration drives in all our high school. Our high school's probably not near as organized because I know what Haggerty does. All of the principals, including myself, are sworn assistant supervisor of elections. So I carry a lot of power. But we actually, I'm talking right now, so I'm an assistant supervisor of elections. But we actually go through a ceremony with Mike Ortel, and we do that because many times the students can't remember information. We're allowed to look up their information in Skyward and help them fill out the forms, and we've done that. So probably a better organized
I agree.
system. I know Haggerty does a great job with it. The other schools I know do some, because I see them at lunches and things, but I think we could step it up. I think it's a great idea.
Absolutely, it's great.
All right, I have no other forms from anyone wanting to address the board.
Wow.
So we'll
Here early.
move on to unfinished business and new business and the superintendent's report.
All right on to the superintendent's report. Board members, as you know, as a result of the tragedy in Parkland, the governor sent us a list of to-do items, which I think are very appropriate. I want to review those very quickly with you this evening, but also have Captain Francis and Dr. Walsh just give an update where we are, because I'm going to have to suddenly bring these in front of you, so in case you have any comments, questions, or whatever. I received a memo on March 23rd telling me that by May 1st, 2018, the Department of Education would hire a director for the newly created Office of Safe Schools, and that has been done. By July 1st, I have to name a safety specialist for Seminole County. Guess who I'm going to name?
Captain Francis, what a great choice.
By July 1st, if we had any people, I would need to send a number to DOE of employees that we would want trained under the Coach Aaron Fees Guardian program. At this point, I'm not sending any names up. On August 1st, 2018, we have to complete a security risk assessment for each campus. Although we've done that, we don't know the exact template or format, but we're ready to roll a little bit ahead on a lot of these things. Also, by August 1st, 2018, we have to submit a plan, because each district has to establish a plan so that every student has access to mental health services. And Dr. Walsh, I think, has a great draft plan. By September 1st, each school shall establish a threat assessment team. And, you know, we've been working on this for a couple of years. By the start of school, there must be at least one SRO at every school, another check for us. And then by the start of the school, the Department of Education will establish a youth mental awareness and assistance program. So just to keep it all on your radar, because some things are going to be happening quickly over the summer, but I'd like Dr. Walsh and then Captain Francis to please come up and talk about their two pieces.
Good evening. As you know, this is a quick turnaround and some things that we have to get in place and activated right away. So we have a multidisciplinary team of professionals that are helping to draft a copy of our mental health plan recommendation to the board. And so we have to have that approved by August 1st. That includes sent to the commissioner by August 1st. So there's a few things that we needed to get in place. First of all, there weren't a lot of details as far as what the plan needed to look like. What we had to include, the checklist just arrived and provided some detail for us. So we had begun working on a draft plan. A team of us will be going with Dr. Wysong, our lead guidance counselor. Will have a lead nurse, psychologist, social worker. A whole team of us are going up there to get the final details of what must be included in the plan. Then what we would like to do is bring it before the board during a work session on the 12th to discuss the plan and get your kind of feedback and information, and I'd like to go ahead and revise that plan in preparation of the June 19th board meeting. That helps us because it's a three-prong plan. One part of it is that we hire for direct services. That's employees that we could go ahead and hire. The other is that we go ahead and recommend health services outside of our school district, and we hire agencies to provide those direct services, and then we refer families for services. So those are the three-prong areas that we are taking a look at. 90% of the funds, the $1.4 million that is provided for us, is to be used for direct services for students. There's going to be a lot of reporting requirements. So beginning September 2019, we have a list of items that we must report. And then from there on out, annually, we must get a plan established and approved, and we have to report out in September of the previous year. So those are some of the things that we're looking at, and we also are coordinating our efforts with our charter schools, because our plan, although we don't approve their plan, their board has to approve their plan, and it goes with ours at the same time.
Okay.
They get a proportionate share of this $1.4 million.
I have a follow-up question to that then.
Okay.
Going to ask too?
Yes, ma'am.
Go right.
So do we know where the charter schools are in their process of developing their plan?
I've communicated with them last week, provided all the update information, provided all the guidance. I've been working with Demetria to make sure that we do a follow-up. I know 2 of our charter school principals are attending the training that we're going to in the next 2 days, sending representatives to get their assistance in doing the plan. I must, say, when you're looking at that proportionate share, it's about $20 per child. So their plan is going to look a lot different than our plan. And so I'm going to provide some guidance. As I had spoken to Demetria, it is all of our plans going up. It's about helping, students with mental health and those kinds of things that we want to make sure that everyone is covered. So I'll be providing as much guidance to them as well.
Yeah, I think one of my concerns would be, are they equipped? Do they have the tools and resources at their disposal to put together a plan that would be beneficial? Because we know most of our charter schools, those students eventually do wind up
Yes, ma'am.
in our schools, and so it'd be nice to have the plans be somewhat cohesive.
I reached out to them and offered my services as well.
Thank you. Other
But-
questions?
Well, on the other side of that, I don't want you to feel like 90% of your time has to be spent guiding them, because we have more students here that need to have direction and a system, and just because of their lack of staff potentially, I don't want us to bear that weight, because they have their own board that they report to, not to us, and that would be my ultimate fear, that they just feel like we're always going to do it for them, and we have a lot of work to do. We know you wear so many hats, Dr. Walsh, and appreciate all you do for us, and we just know there's only so many hours in the day for you to do your work, and I hate for you to have to
Okay.
constantly
Yes, ma'am.
guide.
Thank you.
Also, board members, I'd like to add, although it's not required, we've been working with UCF for, I think, 3 or 4 years now. And Dr. Glenn Lambie and his team presented to all the principals last month to give us a preview of the online training course for all of our employees. And they, the one segment they showed, although it's dark, it's about suicide, but it's factual and it's things to look for. I think it's going to wind up being a really good product. It has taken some time. Our team asked them to do several tweaks to this. And then we'll be able to roll that out and probably at some point in time have all employees be able to go through this training, because we just aren't equipped with that. When we leave college with our education degrees, we're not trained in that area. So I think it's an opportunity for us to just at least let our teachers and staff members know when a child has to be referred.
Right.
So there's 2 areas I want to touch on. First of all is our school assessments. The state has asked us to go through our schools. This will be our 3rd assessment for the school year. And we are about 75% of that complete already. We knocked out a lot of that before the school ended. And we divided it into IS, facilities, school administrations, and school safety and security with the school resource officers, and divide and conquer. So our goal is to finish by July. And that includes, or I'm responsible for the charter schools as well, so that template was given to them as well. With respects to the school threat assessments, we've been doing threat assessments in our schools for a while. This is formalizing the process. Dr. Walsh and I have met, and we are a little bit on hold to see what the DOE mandates. We do want to have some automation with our processes. We've already started talking to the principals about what their team should look like, formalized, and we have set with the school EDs some training in August. So our goal is to have these teams standing up when we start school. Along, of course, our assessments will meet that timeline easily. Right now we're just a little bit, the facilities portion, they're asking questions that it's a little bit outside the scope of school safety and security, but they're asking it and we need to obviously accommodate.
And thank you for all of the information that you provided for us today at the budget work session. It was very, very helpful.
Yes.
Appreciate it. I do have another follow-up question about my Dr. Walsh, I'm sorry, my brain is thinking. Back to the charter school discussion. Because our plans have to be sent up together, is there any sort of penalty that's associated with not sending up a plan
I don't know. I read through the state statute, and I looked through to see if there was a penalty. It was just the expectation that all board-approved charters send their board-approved plan at the same time. So I'll find out some more information. We're going all day, or tomorrow afternoon and Thursday, to gather some more information. I have every intention of making sure that these plans are brought and sent at the same time. We have a good rapport with all of the presidents or principals of the schools, and so I have confidence that we will have a working plan from each one of them.
I know as much as, I love competition, and we all love to compete with anybody, actually. We like to think that we're providing a great product. This is one area when it comes to mental health with children that I don't feel like we're necessarily in competition, because all of these
It's
kids.
the community.
Right, they're all
All have to
Seminole
work
County
together.
children, regardless of what school they attend. So I really kind of
I
feel
agree.
like this is an area where I'm normally like, yeah, let's compete, but this, I feel like we need to do the best that we can to help support, because we're talking about mental health of children.
Right.
So,
And it's students in our community.
right.
Right.
When are we going to start advertising for the mental health counselors at the schools? I don't remember hearing the date on that.
So may I just do the outline process that I was thinking about? Because we are going to be looking at direct services provided by our own staff, quite a few positions I will be recommending after we finish and finalize the plan. Once we get the approval, I'd like to go ahead and advertise right away. So I am planning on, hopefully, with approval, starting to advertise after June 19th board meeting. That gives us plenty of time to get folks that are interested to apply. Now, there are some folks out in our schools that currently are licensed mental health professionals, that just aren't practicing in that area. This is specifically, you will be doing this task on our campuses. And so we've got guidance counselors, teachers, we have social workers that have the credentials to do the work. So I wanted to make sure that we get those advertised because we're taking them from schools, possibly some of those positions. So you asked the good question. I'm hoping to be able to get those advertised as soon as the plan is board approved. That's the plan. Also, the RFP that we have requested for the mental health, I kind of had to get ahead of it because I wanted to make sure that we had the 30-day advertisement and everything like that. So really what we're looking for is I have to have a list of credentials. If we're making referrals, I want to make sure that these are good referrals and that we can trust those that we are referring our students to. The wraparound services for family services as well. And the obligation on all of these referrals that we do is first do, the private party billing and Medicaid billing, and we're the last part of the contribution to that piece.
Madam Chair and board members, I'm hearing Dr. Walsh. I'd like to ask permission if we could go ahead and advertise now for some of the mental health counselors. We just do an open advertisement, and we won't hire anybody until after the approval of the plan on the 19th, on the 20th. But that'll give us, what's going to happen, every district is going to be advertising at the same
Right.
time.
Oh, yes.
This will get us ahead of the 8 ball.
Exactly.
And then we can decide exactly based on the point as we get closer. But I think let's go ahead and do an open advertisement and get the ball rolling.
And then we'll
Thank you.
have the
Great
job
idea.
description and criteria, what they need with ed psychology and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, we do have a job description for mental health counselors, school mental health counselors. We are going to tweak the job description, and I will be bringing that before the board as well at the same time, so that when we're doing the advertisement, I'll work with Boyd on that one, and so we can make sure that we're getting the appropriate advertisements taken care of. Okay.
Laughing because Boyd just gave you a thumbs up behind your head.
I do. Boyd is awesome. We looked at the current job description. It's school-based. We're making this district-based so we can deploy teams where necessary.
Great, thank
Board
you.
members, are you
so
comfortable
much.
with us advertising now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Love it.
Thank you.
So to answer your question, Madam, we actually were on a conference call with DOE talking about school assessments, but it was posed from a larger district that had hundreds of charter schools. Are we going to be penalized for time deadlines not met because of the charter schools? They couldn't answer that question at the time, but they promised to get back with us, and that will be at the mental health side of the every other aspect of this bill.
Thank you.
That concludes my report.
Fantastic. Board members, updates. Tonight we have Mrs. Sanchez. No.
All right, I'll go
Yes,
first.
Mrs. Sanchez, Dr. Calderon, Mrs. Almond.
All right, first one, I'm going to go ahead and the trip from Washington for our safety patrols, fifth graders, the first year they went, they had a great time, from what I understand. Deputy Jackson was just informing me that they loved it, and they all made it back safely and learned a lot. So we're happy that they were able to do that. Seussical, a lot of us went to the Seussical production over at Midway, and it's always such a great big hit, and such talented students and wonderful staff that supported them and helped them, along with everybody from, the music, every artwork, everything. Eugene Gregory, graduation. Thank you for everybody that went to that. That was really nice. My business advisory meeting this week has been canceled, so we won't meet until probably, I don't know if we meet the month of July or we just start up in August. I'll have to double check. Dr. Griffin and his adorable granddaughter and I went to go see Lake Orienta's The Lion King, and that was fabulous. It's neat to see the differences between one school and the other. I had gone to see Crystal Lakes with Dr. Calderon, and it's unique to see the differences, but such talented students. And I would love to see all schools have some sort of drama program and doing some things like that. And then a lot of us had a visit over to Prasad and Cherie's house for the Super 7 robotics team. A lot of them have been together for 8 years, and 4 of them were graduating. So they had a celebration for winning their award in Houston for the Inspired Award is what they won in Houston. I did have a chance to go to the Program of Excellence at Teague, and that was with Kim Eldermeyer's class. And ironically, Dr. Walsh, what you're talking about, mental health, it was really neat to see a lot of the kids were working on different PowerPoints, and one of the kids was doing a PowerPoint on eating disorders, and another one was doing one on what's the most effective way to prevent mental illnesses. And I was really intrigued at what research these 8th graders had pulled together. And they put these PowerPoints together, and I'm sure they would love to share them with you, but they had a lot of really, really neat ones. And they even had, do safety features in cars really work, and are they beneficial? I was really impressed with a lot of the research and asked them how they came up with some of their ideas, and it was just things that they had questions about. And the annual Law Enforcement Memorial Day ceremony, many of us went to that for the fallen officers. Thank you, Sheriff Lima and all the police force and everybody else for everything that you do day in and day out to help our community. And other than that, I'll let you guys finish everything else. So, and then of course we had great graduations. So who's next? Great graduations. Yeah. Who's next? Tina.
As you know, I represent the board on the insurance committee, but you got to hear everything that we heard on the insurance committee. I got to hear it twice. So we're in the throes of our plan design for next year. I think we had some really great open discussions. Our staff knows that the insurance rates are going up, and we need to do something to curb them. And I think there was a lot of good input, and just a reminder to all of our SCPS family members, we're striving for 5. You need to go and get your 5 points done in your physicals and answer your questionnaire so you can be sure to get your credits on your insurance. So that's from the insurance committee. Had the great opportunity to go to Evans Elementary. They won a national competition from Scholastic and got to have Dave Pilkney come, who is the author of all the Captain Underpants books. So that was exciting for the kids, but for me too, it was the only book my son read in elementary school, so brought back great memories. As we've been talking tonight, it's all been about academics and the arts, but we also have athletes in Seminole County. So many of us had the chance to attend the Breakfast of Champions, and recognizing so many of our star athletes and coaches and our athletic directors. We couldn't do it without their leadership. And Tools for Seminole Schools had their annual kickoff, so I'd like to ask any business or religious organization or homeowners group who wants to do a back-to-school drive, if they contact the Foundation for Seminole County Public Schools. We have a punch list of items that are needed and would love to have your help and support for our students and teachers in need. Had the opportunity to go to Midway Safe Harbor. At the end of the school year celebration, many of our Sanford schools had basketball games against each other. I went to Wicklow and Midway, and it was really great in that little facility how they had the cheerleaders, the step team, the basketball players, and especially, but the principals have already left. They were very competitive. They wanted to check some of the student birth certificates because some of them were awful tall for supposedly being in 4th grade, so that was something to behold. And Wicklow actually celebrated their 20th anniversary. It seems like 20 days ago that school was built, but they celebrated with a carnival I got to attend, and the students and families enjoyed it, as did all the teachers and leaders there that were there. And the graduations were phenomenal, and it really is a culmination of the great work from pre-K through senior year in high school. We couldn't do it without the phenomenal teachers, administrators, staff in this building for your leadership. Memorial Day, we celebrated in, I think most of us, we were all in Sanford that day. And the neat thing was both the MC and the keynote speaker were both employees at Seminole High School, so we were very well represented that day. And Mrs. Alman and I got to go to the Sanford Orlando Airport, who's our newest business partner with our aviation program, but we welcomed the FDOT Secretary Mike Dew. And I think that was kind of neat to show that it was a real collaboration between the school district and the airport and even the State Department of Transportation. And I'll let Mrs. Alman.
Okay, so I've checked everything off my list, basically.
I know, so did I.
Tomorrow, Casselberry Chamber Supervisor of Elections, Mike Ertel, and that will be at
11:30.
11:30, yes. Thank you. Metro Life Church, corner of Red Bug, Winter Park Drive, and 436. And I saw an article in the paper. It says Seminole Special Olympian won't yield to cerebral palsy. This young boy, Eric Taylor, I remember him as a student at Lyman. And he was always a student that was a little bit slower than everybody else getting from point A to point B, but he was always happy and always willing to lend a hand. And his parents were told when he was born that he would never amount to anything. And he started working at Bonefish Grill, and now he actually trains other employees that are going to work there. And it's just a really cool, heartwarming story, and I'm really proud of that young man. That's all I have, gosh. You covered it all.
Yeah, absolutely. On May 24th, the Orlando Business Journal hosted the Doing Business in Seminole luncheon. They had a panel discussion that made up of Dr. Ann McGee, Randy Morris, Chairman John Horan, and Miguel Darcos. And it was amazing how much of the conversation that talked about doing business in Seminole always related back to our school district and the workforce development opportunities that we have and the partnerships with Seminole State College and UCF. And it was a one big, like, commercial for Seminole County Public Schools. So thank you to all of the folks that served on that panel and the business folks that attended. It was a good event. We had our Foundation for Seminole County Public Schools board meeting this last week, installed the new board of directors, so changeover there, an exciting group of people coming on with the new executive director, so it'll be kind of fun to see them all working together. And then this Thursday, I'll be visiting along with a couple of folks from Michelle Walsh's department to a supportive housing development in Volusia County that's for families, called Hope Place in Daytona. It's a housing model that we don't have anywhere here in Seminole County, so it'll be interesting to see how this group has figured out how to provide supportive housing to families who are in transition. I will let you know how that goes, what that looks like. If there isn't anything else to come before the board, we'll adjourn at 6:26.
Oh, but we wanted to
Early for us.
stall. And then to meet with you, Kath.